If I'm too blunt about this, I apologize. I'd like to be straightforward and honest with you, though. But look, this is what we need to go over. If you could get this problem taken care of for at this moment $170 a month, take that, let's say 12 months out, turn on and pay it all off at that time, you're getting this done. You're not going to have to pay an inflated price later down the road. You're also not going to have to pay for additional repairs at this moment that are throwing good at bad, basically. They didn't get up there in the attic and look at your ductwork? Why? Are you concerned about your ductwork? A lot of times I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it's as old as the house. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get up there and take a look at the ductwork. And so I try to do things like that make us stand out. Everybody's going to typically tell you it's got a 10-year warranty or it's got a 2-year labor warranty, but are they going to answer the phone on Saturday or Sunday for you whenever you need that emergency service, if you happen to need that? Because I've got a guy on call 24/7 that is going to answer that phone or call you back within 20 minutes of you calling in with the issue. Yeah. Are they going to do that for you? Because I don't think there's very many companies in Amarillo that offer 24-hour service.
Dustin, thank you so much for being here today. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
For those who haven't met you at CertainPath Expo or training, could you share with everyone your name, company name, where you guys are located?
My name is Dustin Burnham. I'm with Gary's Heating and Air out of Amarillo, Texas.
Very good. And what is your role there?
I am a senior technician slash comfort advisor slash co-owner.
Co-owner. Very good. Very good. Yeah, when did you guys buy the business? A few years, right?
It's been about 4 years.
That's neat. That's neat. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. But we're really talking because I wanted to talk about your service and sales process. You had a fantastic year last year. You have a fantastic year every year. Let's be honest.
Try to, yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
So it's time to brag. What'd you end up selling last year?
I landed in at $4.6.
$4.6 million in Amarillo, Texas. Beautiful town, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of money in a small town.
Beautiful town, kind of small. So yeah, I was hustling.
And we call those crown champions if you get over, was it 1.5? I think is the threshold in HVAC.
Yes, it's 1.5.
And you've been a crown champion for how many years in a row?
Started getting the crown champion 2017.
2017. So I'm not good at math. So we'll let the audience figure that out.
Yeah,
I'll get the calculator out when I create the graphics for this thing.
That's where I'm at. Gotta have that calculator handy.
That's right. That's right. I look forward to you walking me through your service and sales call process. But before we do that, love to learn people's stories, how they got to where they are. So let's start with yours. So high school, what were your plans after high school? Did you know what you were going to do?
So middle school, high school, I was geared toward being a wrestler, going maybe to college for wrestling.
Cool.
Ended up getting some speeding tickets because I raced motocross for a lot of years and like to go fast. So whenever I got behind the wheel, I think by the time I was 17, I had 5 to 6 speeding tickets.
Uh-oh.
My dad finally said, I'm done paying for insurance and I'm not paying for these tickets. So you figure it out.
Yeah.
So got in touch with Gary and Paula, who ran Gary's Heating and Air at the time.
How'd you know him, by the way?
They were family friends.
Okay.
So Paula, which is Gary's wife, was actually my Sunday school teacher back in 2nd grade. So lots and lots of ties back. Called them. Actually, my stepmom called them. Got me the job interview. Went in. Gary's like, I'm not hiring a kid. He's for the company, but he can come do some yard work at the house.
Yeah.
So when did yard work, stained the fence, put some sod in. By the time all that was said and done, he's like, all right, I think I'll give him a go.
Right.
And so got my foot in the door and then have just basically went from installing registers in new construction homes.
I was going to say, so you were like, what, 19 or something?
I was 17.
17?
Yep. Started, it'd have been junior summer is whenever I started here.
So you've seen some massive changes in that business.
Big time.
So tell everybody, what did Gary's look like when you were 17 years old?
So when I started at Gary's, obviously we were doing a ton of new construction. Some residential remodel, but not a lot.
Right.
Moving forward to, I guess it was about 2008, 2009, we completely stepped out of the new construction world.
Right.
Realized it was just not making us any money.
Right.
Not the kind of money that we could have been making.
Yeah.
So Gary pulled the plug on that. We completely shifted towards residential remodels, and that is where we've been since.
I think that's when you guys joined at the same time, right?
I think it was about that time frame.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe how fast
we were, because before CertainPath, it was
SGI or
yeah. Yeah. So
or airtime.
Airtime. That's what it was.
500. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Airtime, I remember that. And then obviously transferred over into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started off, okay. So let's walk me through again your individual path. So you started doing some installs.
Started doing, like I said, started out with just new construction, installing registers, filter grills, setting outside units, charging them up, make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
To doing full residential remodel installs. Got to where I was very good at that. So learned ductwork design, learned heating and air, heat loss, heat gain, all that, to where I was able to basically design a system and do everything need be to do that. From there, went from doing installs to just maintenance tech. Got pretty good at that, and then kind of transformed into being a service technician side of maintenance tech. And then just went to straight, almost, I was the senior service technician at that point, and then kind of transferred into comfort advisor / sales technician.
Right. What was that process like, by the way? When did Gary go, hey, did you go to him like, hey, I think I like this, I could be a good salesperson, or he go, I see something in you?
I think it was mainly him seeing it in me, because my turnover on flipping leads to the current guys that were in those positions was very high. I have always been very good at talking to homeowners and relating to homeowners. So I had a very high flip lead success, and so I think he saw that and was like, well, why not just give you a shot? You're out there anyways. You build all that credit rapport with the homeowner. Let's see what happens.
Right. What was your training process then to learn a sales process? Did you come to any of our stuff? Did Gary show you up?
I did go to some of the CertainPath stuff. There's been several mentors that I've kind of talked to. I did some trips. I've been to Palm Springs to the General.
Oh yeah.
With what's his name?
Patrick?
No, not Patrick.
Now I'm gonna have to edit this. Francisco.
Yeah. Did a ride along with him. Got some good feedback off of that.
He's closed at a high level for a long time.
He's had some big numbers.
So
just kind of a lot of riding around and getting mentorship from other people. And then a lot of it I've just done, watch lots of podcasts, lots of videos, take little tidbits from those.
Great.
And then trial and error. And trial and error has been
that's life, right? Trial and error.
Exactly. Oh, and you have to keep it relatable to a customer as if you were in their shoes, and basically help them understand why. Why would I do that?
Right.
So sure. Yeah, that's a lot of how I've come to where I am.
What led us to attend the event today? We've been watching the CertainPath podcast on YouTube for quite some time, and it just had a lot of good content, so we wanted to come and see what that content was live. Coming into this, I had no expectations of what it might be. I've never experienced anything like this before, but it proved to be a truly moving and engaging experience all the way around. My most powerful insight from this is that there are other contractors just like me, just struggling to make it, to figure it out, and it's wonderful to know that there's a network of people that can help support you and have your back. The most exciting thing to take home here, what we're going to implement, is going to be the call taking and dispatching for profit. I can truly see from the coaches what the value of that is, and for us, that's going to be step one. I would recommend others come and experience so that they can find out what they don't know, to understand that they don't know what they don't know, and to be able to experience a community that's willing to help answer that question.
When did the opportunity present itself to buy the business?
So that has been about 4 years ago is whenever that opportunity came up, which it was scary.
Sure.
Seeing, obviously,
money, right?
Yeah, when you see the cost of a business, it's baffling. But Gary is a very good mentor. He sat down, he said, here's what we're going to do. He worked with us on getting it done. And it's been great since. We just continue to have growth year to year.
And he knew he trusted you and your partner. You guys had proven yourself.
He threatened us with the right hand. If we didn't keep it going in the right path,
his name's the right.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's his name. So
that's very cool. No, it's great to see the legacy continue. Right, and he's got to love seeing it grow. And
I definitely think he does.
See, they're neat people.
Yeah,
the Wards are just neat.
They've always been good to me.
That's fantastic. All right, let's have a little fun. I want to learn what you do. Let's So let's share with everyone what kind of calls you as a senior tech, comfort advisor. What kind of calls are you typically seeing?
Lots of new customers that call in. They have never used us in the past. So basically go in
Maintenance, repair.
both maintenance and repair. Mainly repair. Some maintenance, do definitely some tune-ups. But yeah,
mostly putting you on older systems or
not necessarily. Some older, probably more older than newer, but some newer also. Which is kind of funny because a lot of these new construction houses are disasters. So you go in and have to redesign everything to make it work.
Yeah.
Or else people are looking at having to replace a system in a very short period of time.
Yeah, and that's something. Slamming them in there, right?
Yeah, it's bad.
When you get dispatched to a call, like what's your process to learn about the homeowner or the home? Do you do anything in advance?
I like to get basically all the information on the house that I can get. So I use several. I'll Google search the address.
Yeah.
Find out what square footage we're looking at. If I can, I zoom in on photos, see if it's going to be all electric, if it's going to be gas. That way I've got a pretty good basis of what kind of house I'm walking into.
Sure.
So I know about the house. So at that point, when I get there, I can learn about the customer. I can, whenever they're talking, I can pay attention. I can get tidbits from them.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I like to do. I like to walk in as soon as I'm there, introduce myself, make sure, I'm parked somewhere where it's not going to bother them or their neighbors. Basically just make them feel like
Sure.
I'm there to 100% reassure them that there's nothing that I'm going to do that's going to harm their home or be not beneficial to them.
Before that, though, so you did the research on the home. When you drive into the house, do you like to call and introduce yourself there, or you just like to do it at the home?
I do it face to face.
So you like face to face?
Yep.
Okay, very good. So all right, you knock on the door, did turn, they walk in. How does that warm up, that rapport building begin with you? Because I know if it's a no cool call in Amarillo, Texas, people are like sweating. They're like, get on, they want you out there, right?
Yeah, they definitely do.
So how do you take control of that?
I like to do it all, to slow everything down. I try to basically bring it all in easy because it's a lot of money these days, and
Sure.
so try to slow it all down, get to know them,
Right.
Have them show me the thermostat first as we're walking through the house. I'm studying basically, do they have family, do they have dogs? If they've got dogs, that dog greets me at the door generally, and that's where I start. Some calls, that is the biggest thing that you can do is pet the dog.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk by the dog and blow it off, that could be like a kid to them, and they're gonna be a little bit upset about
For
that.
sure.
What
are questions you're asking as you're walking?
A lot of it's how long you've been in Amarillo, how long you've been having issues with the heating and air system. Have you ever used a heating and air company before? Have you ever used us before? How'd you hear about us?
Right.
Sometimes you get lucky and they've been recommended by somebody that I know, because I've got a lot of repeat customers.
Sure.
Those are typically my favorite.
Oh, of course.
They're pretty easy. But sometimes it's not that easy.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, just learning as much as I can about that homeowner.
So you start, you come in, go to the thermostat, and then you have them walk throughout the house.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you measuring it? That's you're a service call, so you're not measuring.
No, generally I'm just using that time frame to get to know them, ask them different questions that
Hot, cold spots.
Yeah, just trying to learn the house. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I've seen what I need to see in here. Do you mind showing me the outside unit? Do you mind showing me the attic access? I'll even ask them, do you want to come upstairs with me and check stuff? A lot of times you don't have that choice. They're coming anyways, so you might as well just get ready.
Yeah.
But some of them, they're no, you I'll just come in. I'll be in my office whenever you get ready.
Right.
So a lot of times whenever I get those like that, I feel like I've done a good job establishing the rapport, because they're not worried about me being in their garage that has $100,000 car in it, or all their tools that are going to walk out that garage door. So
Sure.
that's my goal, is typically to make it to where they're going to go inside the house, in their office in the back of the house, and not worry about me being there.
Okay.
So at that point, I can go through and take all the pictures that I need to take to basically show them, hey, this is what's going on. This is what this looks like. This is something you may not know about. This is a picture of it, and let me explain to you what this is causing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I go about that.
Do you fill anything out? Do you do like a report of
I
anything?
do, yeah. So we've got a full system. It's on service side, and we're on service side.
Yeah.
So we've gone in and built digital full system evaluation forms.
Yeah.
We've got cooling tune-up forms, maintenance check forms, and it's typically anywhere from a 20 to a 30 point form. So, and we do it off of it's not colors, but it's like good, better, best kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, go through that form, take pictures, and at that point, that kind of gives me what I need if they're looking for more proof.
Sure.
I'll tell you, a lot of times I don't have to use that form.
Right.
And I don't.
You just show the pictures, right?
Pictures are huge.
Yeah.
They're huge. Even videos.
Yeah.
Videos are big too.
What do you just narrate what you're seeing, basically? Like if you see organic growth or something? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go in there and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, this is what we got going on. I took some pictures because I know you're not going to get up there and take a look at that. You don't want to get up there and take a look at that. I understand that.
Yeah,
it's my job. So I'm gonna give you some recommendations. If I'm too blunt about this, I apologize. I'd like to be straightforward and honest with you, though. So if I'm too blunt, I apologize. But look, this is what we need to go over.
Yeah.
And obviously go through the pictures.
You grabbed my attention, by the way, and how you put that. You're like, uh-oh, what's going on? Like immediately, I'm like, oh, there's a concern.
And that's. I like it. Yeah, it's intentional. I've kind of learned that there's certain words you can use that will kind of open them up and make them realize there is an issue. It's not something they need to blow off and worry about it later down the road.
Because people are so busy now. They're like, oh, I'm working on work at my laptop, my phone, and then you said that, and even I was like, oh,
exactly.
I leaned in. I could feel myself. So then you're walking through the pictures. So like, how do you use just, normal terminology for them to understand what's, compressor's bad? This is what it does. Like, how do you talk about what you're seeing?
I try to use metaphors. I try to use things that they relate to. And that goes back to me walking through the house and seeing a tractor, pictures of them with tractors, pictures of them with cars.
Yeah.
I use all that stuff to be able to build metaphors. That way I can say, hey, this capacitor is like, the battery on your car. If this doesn't have a charge in it, it's not going to allow your car to start. Or it's just weak. It should be plus or minus 5% from this point here, and it is lower than that. So this is something that we're concerned about at this time. Yeah. And then of course roll into options as far as getting that taken care of.
Right. So okay, we'll go with this at this point. So when you start building options, right? What are your options looking like? Is one of them replacement? Are you waiting for them to ask? Or are you showing them?
No, I do. So depending upon how bad it is, if it's something I can't bring back to life, regardless, I'll start out with typically anywhere from 4 to 5 options. First option is going to be service call. That's it. That's basically do nothing, pay me for my time, and basically have the information that you need.
Yeah.
Second option, I'm going to basically go into repairs.
Okay.
Any repair and every repair that I see on the system that is needed, or basically the repair that needs to be made to get the system back up and going, that is going to be in that second option.
Yeah.
So it may range anywhere from $500 to $3,000.
Yeah.
With that being said, on that estimate, on all those repairs, I like to open that estimate up. I'll open it up and I'll tell them, hey, this is what I was talking about. This is what's in complete failure and it's causing your system not to work. This is something that is also an issue. It's not necessarily in failure right now, but it's my job to recommend and basically tell you if there is something that I'm concerned with.
Sure.
And then depending upon how many of those repair items that are in there, I'll go through that on all of those.
Yeah.
But I'll let them know that basically this number one thing here is that's the big issue.
Yeah.
The other things are preventative type things, but they are things that need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And depending upon, the state of the system, how old it is, how big that repair ticket's going to be,
sure,
I'm going to roll into basically, we use bronze, silver, gold, platinum options is what we use as far as equipment goes.
Yeah.
So I'll go into equipment replacement.
You'll show them right then. You'll go through all the repairs and then the replacement ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go right into the replacement. Like I said, it also just depends on how that customer is responding at this point.
Yeah.
If they're not quite responding like I feel like they're going to be interested in hearing that,
Yeah.
then I'll keep it at the repair, stop talking, and then let them talk.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're like, well, how much is replacement? And then
Yeah.
at that point, that opens the door for me to come in and say, okay, well, this is your different options as far as equipment goes. Obviously, this system here is going to be one like what you currently have. It's the new version. It is more efficient. We also have some other options that builders don't think about putting in these homes whenever they build these houses because they're looking to cut cost. Now you have the opportunity to upgrade this equipment. So at this point, if you're going to be in the house for 8 to 10 years, it might be a good opportunity to, improve your system's efficiency and go with one of these better options.
Yeah.
You're also going to improve the comfort of the home because these are 2-stage variable speed systems. So instead of just coming on and running as hard and as fast as it can go, it's going to run at lower speeds. So it's going to maintain the temperature in the house better for you.
Right.
And so instead of getting a hot flash or a cold flash when that air conditioner comes on, it's going to be more moderate and just maintained instead of rapidly heating the house or cooling the house.
Yeah.
So then, like I said, basically going through the equipment options like that.
Everything's financed. Everything's at a finance price. You hold on to that.
I don't do financing prices until I'm asked about it.
Okay. I don't want to give up that.
I don't. Yeah. I pitch the full price right off the bat.
Yeah.
If they are maintenance members, obviously I'll say it. That being basically this is your total, what you're looking like on this package. If you'll see over here, this is going to be your savings for being on the maintenance plan, which we really appreciate y'all because y'all keep us busy through the slower months, and so you're getting that discount for helping us out there.
Right.
So, and then also just want to let you know that this is a 1 year, this package comes with a 1 year labor warranty, but because you're on the maintenance plan, you're going to get a 5 year labor warranty on all these systems that are presented to you today. And that's another benefit of that maintenance plan. Now,
at that point, say it's a new customer, again, called in, maybe the system's 8 years old and it needs to be replaced. And you see, they don't know, but new customer, they don't really know you guys.
Right.
So they're all of a sudden like, oh crap, I thought this was going to be a couple $100 and I'm going to go up on my day. And all of a sudden I'm staring at 20,000 or whatever your average replacement is. How do you start selling Gary? It's like, why you should just absolutely sign up today. I am your right guy,
That's a tough one because I feel like if I haven't done that up to this point prior in the call.
So, okay. When in the call are you really going, hey, this is what we are, this is what we do?
I try to use my personality and myself to present basically how Gary's is.
Yeah.
I don't have to dig into telling them benefits about us most of the time. Generally, I cover it all by just being me and treating them like my mom, my dad, or my grandma or my granddad. That's kind of the tactic that I take on every call that I go in. I try to treat them like they're my family.
Yeah.
So I don't have to typically use benefits of using us versus somebody else.
Yeah.
I will generally, some of them will ask how long, I know y'all been around for forever, seen your trucks for forever. How long y'all been in business?
Right.
So at that point, I was like, we've been in business since 1978.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, I don't have to build a whole lot of value about Gary's because I've established that with them just by being me at that point.
Right. I like it.
And I can tell you probably 80% of my customers, I've built friendships and relationships with them, and a lot of them, they don't want anybody else in their house because they feel like I'm family at that point.
Yeah.
Prime example, had an accident back in 2020. I had probably 10 customers call and ask if they needed to help with finances.
Wow.
Because they had that kind of rapport built with them.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
You realize how big of an impact you have on people's lives.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of that's just by me taking the time to sit down with them, explain things, talk to them. I mean, I like to try to start talking about other things other than what's wrong with their heating and air system off the bat.
Yeah.
Of course we're going to get to that, but building that rapport with them as a person first is my thing.
How long is your average call typically?
Typically I would say an hour and a half.
Okay.
Sometimes 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours would typically be if somebody is going to be utilizing financing.
Right.
But typically no longer than an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
we're going to pause on that service repair example. I want to back up and go, now what if this is a maintenance call? 10-year-old system, but it's working fine. But they didn't know it needs to get serviced. But maybe it's 15 years old. Let's make it an old. Yeah, it should be considered. How do you look at it? I'm sure same beginning, right? You go up there, they're in the office or whatever, doing their work, and you're like, okay. How do you explain it might be worthwhile to consider replacing?
So kind of the same thing. I like to build a worst case scenario option. Worst case scenario option is here's the state of the blower, here's the state of the coil. Both of these really need to be cleaned. But here's the rust on this coil. If we pull and clean that, there's potential we could do more harm than good.
Right.
Not saying that I'm not willing to do that. It's just you need to know that there is a potential chance that this system is in such condition that we can make things worse by trying to make them better. Right. I'll build, like I said, that option based off of every repair or anything that needs to be preventative to be done on that system to bring it back to 100%.
Yeah.
At that point, a lot of times it does obviously roll into new equipment. If I haven't already thought that, hey, they're probably going to want to look at a new system, then at that point we'll go into, okay, well let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You want to know how much a new system costs? Well, I've got several different options. Let's look at them.
Right.
And so I'll build those options. Right now it's what equipment can you get? Do you have in stock? And I'll explain that too with them. I'm like, hey, we're having some refrigerant changes coming. Equipment is scarce.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to keep in mind. If your system fails in the middle of summertime, not only we might be booked out, but we also might have not. We may have to wait for that particular piece of equipment that you're looking for at that time.
Right.
So right now we've got it in stock, though. Your system does have these issues going on.
Yeah.
Would you like to look further into moving forward with this replacement?
Yeah.
That time, some of them, they say, I don't have the money to do it.
Sure.
And I'll say, of course, well, yeah, I understand. We've got financing. Would you like to look at the financing options?
Got it.
Some of them, they shoot straight for, I don't do any financing. And at that point, I'm like, I understand. I fully understand that. But if you could get this problem taken care of for at this moment, $170 a month, take that, let's say 12 months out, turn on and pay it all off at that time. I mean, you're getting this done. You're not going to have to pay an inflated price later down the road. You're also not going to have to pay for additional repairs at this moment that are throwing good at bad, basically.
Yeah.
So is that something that you'd like to look at? And so that kind of gives me that in there.
Sure.
A lot of times that is what they're needing, is just kind of some help reassuring them to go that direction.
Sure.
Sometimes
they're stunned. They're like, oh, what's going on? Yeah.
Another one I like to use, it's helpful. They're worried about moving money from, let's say, retirement or from an IRA.
Right.
And so they're telling me they're going to have to think on it or something like that. And I don't know how I typically get it out of them, but they'll tell me, they're like, well, I would have to move money around. And so I just I don't know how long that would take.
Right.
And I'll say, okay, well, that's fine. I mean, are you having to move it from a retirement, or where are we moving it from?
Right.
And they'll tell me at that point. I'm like, okay. I said, well, generally, because I have several customers that have to do that, it takes anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to get that done. I don't mind doing the install tomorrow and waiting a week for you to give me that money and pay it. And so does that work for you? And a lot of times that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're just looking for a week to 2 weeks to
legitimately
get everything situated and then take care of it at that time. But now that we've got a new heating and air system, they're not having to worry about that part of it.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot.
Is it? Yeah.
A lot.
That's interesting.
And so if you're willing to wait a week to get your money, a lot of companies can't do that, but we're fortunate enough that we can. And so give them that week time span. Usually it's a day. It's 2 days.
Yeah.
And they're showing up at the office with a check.
Yeah.
And so that works pretty good.
I wanted to have IQ. Like, do you open in questions to bring up? Are you dealing with allergies? Does anyone have it? Or you don't really worry?
We do, yeah. So, well, I guess it was Wednesday. Sold about $4,000 in UV light systems.
Yeah.
I try to some meat on the bone for the installers.
Okay.
Of course, another thing that I do that some people may not, I'm at that job for 3 to 4 times a day.
Oh, okay.
So even though I sold it, I'm going back throughout the day during the guy's install, double checking things, making sure things are going the way they're supposed to, communicating with the customer, letting them know, hey, this is where they're at on this job. They're going to be done by this time. And whenever they do get to close to turning it on, they're going to come in here. They're going to explain the thermostat to you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of customers' concern is, how am I going to run this thing on the wall? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I do 3 to 4 follow-ups throughout the day on my jobs, whether I have a full day or not. I'm going by that install.
Yeah.
At that point, if my guys haven't talked to him about IQ or additional items that can help out that system, because I feel like once the guys have the old equipment out and it's in that garage, at that point I can bring the customer out and say, hey, we were talking about this. We've talked about this time and time again, but let's look at it now that you can actually see it laying in the floor of your garage. Yeah. A lot of times that's when it's huge. That's when it means something, because they're looking at their unit that just came out and they can see how dirty it is. Yeah. So at that point, if, like I said, my guys haven't rolled into IEQ or discussed that with the customer, I'll take that time. I mean, if they don't want to take advantage of it, I'm going to take advantage of it. Yeah. And
it's good for the people too.
Yeah, it's good for the people. It's good for the company.
All wins. Yeah. How about on a just straight up, I'm getting bids call, and you, the fun ones, right? Right. So how does your process change? Is it similar? You're still going up in the system and looking at it?
I am. Yes. Yeah. So I try to ask directional questions to figure out, what did that last guy do or not do as far as looking at the system? Did they get in the attic? Did they check out the ductwork? Well, if they didn't get up there in the attic and look at your ductwork? Yeah. Why? Are you concerned about your ductwork? A lot of times I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it's as old as the house. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get up there and take a look at the ductwork. Right. And so I try to do things like that make us stand out. For sure. Granted, sometimes that doesn't do any good. I mean, you can't overcome $10,000. Right. Most of the time. Right. Sometimes with your credibility and you building rapport with a customer, it's very easy to overcome $10,000 difference. Yeah. But you can also typically feel out whether a customer is looking for straight price or they're looking for quality. Yeah. And that is also based off of kind of how I do every call. And that's by paying attention to what's going on at the house. Is the yard perfect? Is their car clean? Is their entrance of their house clean, or is there dirt on the floor? Yeah. Typically you can tell by how they take care of their things, as far as, are they interested in price or are they interested in quality? Right. And so if they're interested in quality, of course, by me noticing these things and me talking to them, at that point, those are typically pretty easy to overcome. And by utilizing, we've been in business since 78. We got the Torch Award from the Better Business this year. Yeah. We got, we got all 4 to 5 awards from Carrier this year for being Dealer of the Year. Yeah. So we've gotten a lot of awards, and we don't get those for no reason. Right. We've worked very, very hard on building our reputation, and I feel like that's a good reason.
Does that come out, that little elevator pitch when you come before the bids, or are you objection handling with that?
I don't typically, so like on those kind of calls, there isn't a whole lot of objections until the point where I'm going to get 3 other bids. Yeah. And that's what I tell my office girls. I don't like being the last bid. Right. I don't like being the first bid. I want to be the last bid. Right. And so at that point, I know kind of where they're at. A lot of people, they try to hide it that they've gotten other bids, but I try to get it out of them. Yeah. Because I want to know. I want to know where they're at. And
what do you say?
A lot of times I'll ask them, I'm like, so let's, with these equipment options here, I need to know, are you looking for lowest cost, or are you looking for the best value? Yeah. And that kind of helps me know which way to go with it. Sure. And I also use that whenever I'm asking them. I'm like, well, so you've gotten other estimates. What's the reason for getting other estimates? Yeah. A lot of times, sometimes they'll tell you that they'll be straightforward. They're like, I'm looking for the cheapest option. Yeah. And sometimes they'll say, I'm looking for the best value. Right. And so if they say I'm looking for the best value, then I'll ask them to expound on that. Yeah. I'm like, well, can you tell me what would the best value for you be exactly? Right. And then depending upon what they tell me, I'll use that to kind of move one way or the other as far as taking the service call.
On this bid
or the estimate.
On this estimate call, 3 options on that, or you do multiple ones on that?
The least amount as possible. Right. And that's, a lot of guys, they overwhelm a customer. Right. So that kind of goes back to, I feel like I want to be as straight and to the point as possible.
Yeah.
Without obviously confusing them or scaring them.
Yeah.
And my options are the same way. I don't want to have 8 options on the page. I want to have an option like what they have, a middle of the road, and a top of the line.
Yeah.
And then of course, if they need ductwork, I may have a ductwork and insulation option on there as well.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know they needed ductwork and insulation up to this point because so-and-so didn't get up in the attic.
Right.
But I did, and I had pictures.
Right.
Right. So but I try to build as little as options as possible because I don't want that to be where they run for the closet and hide.
What's the biggest differentiator typically between your like Cadillac option versus the budget option? Guarantees.
I would say obviously, I mean the price is one because you go from base model to the top of the line, it's a $15,000 jump.
Yeah.
But our probably 80% one that people go with is going to be that middle of the road option.
Yeah.
The reason being is, that middle of the road option that we have is a 2-stage package. So it's going to be roughly 30% more efficient than the base model option. A lot of people, it comes down to, I don't want all that technology in there with all the electronics and all that can fail later down the road. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that. Well, let's look at this option then.
Yeah.
And so I put the top of the line on there because that's for some people, but it's not for a lot of people. And so at that point, we can drop back down to that middle of the road. And at that point, it would be the best bang for your buck on them.
Yeah.
For them.
You always start with the most expensive option?
I start with the cheapest.
Okay.
I'll start with the cheapest and basically pyramid it up to the most expensive. And then whatever additional items, I tag those onto the end because whenever I open it up to present it to the customer, it shows typically those first 3 first, and then I can slide it over and show them the other ones if I haven't lost them by that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it kind of gives me a window where I can make it go one way or the other.
Do you, throughout all these different examples we're talking about, you're dealing with a homeowner, how much are you paying attention to like their tone and their body language? And what do you do with that? Do you try to mimic it? Are you just and you're just picking up on clues on how to change what you're saying? You know what I'm saying?
I do use it to basically know if I'm losing them or not.
Right.
And if I am losing them, then obviously I need to bring them back in. So
right.
All of them are different. I mean, sometimes it's petting the dog. The dog's coming up, so I start petting the dog, or the wife walks up, start talking to the wife, asking the wife, "Hey, do you want to look at these? Would you like to know what's going on here?"
Right.
And so I do notice sometimes whenever I start losing, let's say the mister, then I try to bring him back in by utilizing something that relates to him. I mean, yeah, I definitely pay attention to that. Facial expressions, body language. I mean, that's all huge.
Sure.
Like I said, I try to get all of that settled as soon as I get to the house.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't get all that settled in the first 15 minutes, it's not going to be good regardless. They may fix it with you, but they may not be happy about it.
Yeah.
But if you spend the time to, get all that stuff settled down initially, everything else moving forward is a lot easier.
Sure. So, of course, some of the fun stuff. Well, actually, before I get in, you mentioned the financing thing. Mm-hmm. What are the typical financing packages that you guys offer?
So we've got several different term options.
Yeah.
I would say though,
are you doing a lot of financing or not so much?
We do quite a bit. I think we did probably around 2-point-something million last year in financing.
Yeah.
A lot of the financing that we are doing is long-term.
Okay.
It's the 15-year option. I mean, it is a high interest rate, but it's month-to-month interest and no penalty for early payment.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people, they're looking for small money right now, big money later down the road.
Yeah.
So small money right now is, let's say, a minimum payment for $12,000 system is $150.
Yeah.
And so they're looking for that. If they can pay $150, get into it, and then pay it off when an income tax comes in, or pay it off in 3 years, then of course they have a smaller payment, but they're going to be able to pay it off when they want to pay it off, and there's no penalty for that.
Yeah.
And so I would say 75% of finance jobs, that's what they're going with, is a long
So you like the long-term one. Do you any talk about like, hey, and with the energy efficiency, with this new system, your old system is 15 years old. I mean, the financing is, or you don't like to go that way.
I do touch on that some. It is typically with the analytical type that are, they're looking for proof. At that point, I can explain, this is the SEER rating of your current unit. This is the SEER rating of your new unit. Let's look at a percentage there. So that efficiency, I'll bring in their electricity bill. I'm like, what do you pay typically in June or July?
Yeah.
Well, let's take this percentage off of that, and roughly that'll kind of give us an idea of what it's going to save you.
Yeah.
And then if it's huge, great. I mean, that of course I'm gonna be like, well, this $150. That's nothing. You're gonna have this system paid off in X amount of time.
Yeah.
I try not to get too deep in that though, because you can promise or say things that can be misconstrued as promises, and then it just goes down the wrong path.
For sure. You just kind of make them aware of it.
Yeah. I try to definitely use it as a point, but not as like a promise or something.
You're going to save $300. Yeah.
And then a lot of times it's I get the phone call, hey, you know how much this thing has saved me?
That's great.
I'm like, do you mind me using you? If I need somebody to make a phone call to get a testimonial from somebody, can I use you for that person to call?
Yo, you'll do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
I've
cool.
got probably 10 people at any given time that I can give this new customer their phone number. They can call them and get a testimonial from them just like that. And that
might close me just there, honestly.
It's super helpful.
Yeah.
Because they were the same way.
I spent $20,000 and now I want to talk good things about this guy. That says a lot.
I've had a lot of them. I've had a lot of them do that.
Yeah.
And it works.
Hey, let's be real. If you're listening or watching this podcast, it's because maybe your sales process could use a little help. If you're a contractor owner, maybe your business could do a little bit better. Everyone and every business can. But here's the question. Are you going to go it alone, learn the hard way by making mistake after mistake? Or do you want to learn the systems and procedures that have helped thousands of contractors since 1999? For example, Gary Segan. I consider Gary Ward a friend. I met him over a decade ago when he first joined. Gary completely transformed from a new construction company to a residential service and replacement company. He did it by following the CertainPath model and getting help from CertainPath coaches. So what's your next move? If you want a roadmap tailored to your company, not just cookie cutter advice, book a free discovery call with one of our CertainPath coaches. Our team of expert coaches help contractors go from stuck and stressed to running multi-million-dollar high-margin businesses while actually enjoying some freedom of time. We have coached thousands of service business owners, yet this call's about you, where you're at, what's in your way, what's possible next. Go to the episode description right now. Click the link that says book your free discovery call. If you're serious about change, this is your next step. Hope you do that.
When you give those bids, just quiet, seeing how the husband and wife interact, you try not to talk first. What you believe in that? Or you don't worry about that as much.
After I've gone over everything and basically feel like I have done 100% everything that I can do to explain everything, and feel like that I've answered all the questions and tried to keep any objections from coming up, I'll stop. I'll stop and basically turn it over to them. I'll even slide my iPad over. I'm like, do you have any questions about any of these other ones, or is there something I didn't touch on that you didn't know about, or is there something else that I can tell you about one of these systems to help you make up your decision, make up your mind?
Yeah.
That point I kind of leave it to them.
Sure.
I don't want to be the person to talk first.
Yeah.
I've sat there for 10, 15 minutes on some of them.
Oh man.
A lot of times it's them just thinking.
Yeah.
And I've even gone to the point where if it goes for a long time, I'm like, hey, I'm going to run out to my van and I leave my cards in my van.
Yeah.
Every time I leave my card in my van.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I'm going to run grab you a card real quick while you look this over and think about this.
Yeah.
If you have a question when I come back in, we can go over that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times when I come back in, that was what they needed. They needed me to walk away so they can talk to their wife, or they needed me to walk away so they can make that phone call.
For sure.
And so giving them that little window helps out a bunch.
For sure. No, it makes sense. Sometimes,
like I said, I leave my cards in my van or my truck on purpose.
That's good.
It gives me that, or gives them that time for them to do what they need.
Yeah. Dustin, I mean, if I'm thinking as a homeowner, I'm sure there's people who go, oh, this top option's 20-some thousand, the middle one's X. Even the basic one's way more than I had no idea a new air conditioner costs this much. I don't know. I need to think about this. How do you handle people that are, just kind of a shell shock?
That's a tough one. It's a tough one. That's a tough one regardless of whether you have the answer or don't have the answer. But I'll say, well, is there something, is there a question that I didn't answer for you? Is there something we can talk about that, see if I can help you answer the question that you're not sure of before I leave? I mean, regardless, if I can't, I'm going to leave my number with you. You can call me, but is there a particular question or something I didn't explain that I can explain maybe a little bit better for you?
Right.
And then like I said, I'd try to utilize the financing at that point. If they're to that point where they don't know which decision to make, then first start talking financing options. For sure. How
about people that go at that point, Dustin, it's a lot of money, I feel like I need to get other bids. How do you try and get them to reiterate the value of what Gary's is and what you provide?
Obviously, that depends if it's a new customer or an existing customer.
Existing customer, how do you?
Existing customer, I would obviously have known by the time I went in there, because I'll look at previous invoices. I'll see what other guys have told them. I'll see how long they've been using us, because with ServiceTitan, you can see basically the first time that you went out there all the way up until today.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, well, if you don't mind me asking, you've used us for 15 years. You kind of know about the company. You've dealt with several of our guys. What would be the reason for wanting to switch up now?
Right.
I do realize this is a very large expense, but it's an expense that could last you 20 years.
Right.
So if we think about it on a 20-year time frame versus a today time frame, does it help? Does it make more sense to use us, or you still want to get other options?
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, of course, I use different wording for each one of them.
Yeah.
But that's a basis of kind of what
when you bring in that, hey, if you want, I've got 10 other customers. They're willing.
Yeah.
How do we use that? Bring it in?
I do. So if I have, obviously, people that are questioning the facts that I put down as far as percentage and savings and things like that.
Yeah.
And they'll tell me. I'll ask them. I'm like, so what option are you kind of thinking? Which one are you thinking is going to be best for you and your family?
Right.
And a lot of them, they'll say, well, this one or that one. And I'll say, well, what's keeping you from? And they're like, well, I just don't know if it's going to make the money difference is going to make sense and how long it'll take to recover that.
Right.
And at that point, I'm like, well, would you like to talk to somebody that bought this same system here? Because I've got several customers that are more than happy to talk to you about it, and I can give you the phone number.
Yeah.
And so I've had a lot of them take me up on that.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm lucky that
great.
We did good on those people.
Yeah. No, it's great. Do people know all the time you're the owner? Do you say that?
I keep that till the end.
I was going to say.
A lot of people don't know that until I hand them my business card and it says co-owner on it.
Yeah.
I don't say that because then a lot of people are like, oh, you've got power to give me a discount.
I was just scrolling that way. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. A lot of people, let's say if it maintenance call. And here's another thing. So with ServiceTitan, we have bios. And so we send out bios.
Oh, yeah.
And so if the customer's read the bio, all the bio, they know that I'm a co-owner because it says it in there.
Yeah.
But if they haven't read the bio, that kind of tells me a little bit about them too. They're not reading through the details in the fine print.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I need to make sure that they know everything because they're not going to read it if I send it to them on an estimate.
Right.
If I don't cover all of that with them before I leave, that's a lost opportunity right there.
How do you handle it? They'll go, hey, Dustin, I know you're the owner. I read your bio. Can't you take like another $1,000 off? Come on, Dustin.
I tell them, we are. Try. It's a tough one because you don't want to be too straightforward, but you want to be straightforward enough that they know I've got this. I need to hit this number to make money.
Right.
A lot of our customers are business owners, or gas and oil, or CPAs. And so they get it, and I'll tell them, well, I got to be at this percentage, and this is the percentage that you're getting off already, and so you're already cutting into my money. I try to turn it into a joke. I really do.
That's great.
Because when they're asking for a discount, a lot of times they're being serious about it. And so I try to bring it out. I try to keep it from getting serious.
Yeah.
I want it to be joking. I want it to be fun. I try to make my estimates fun.
That's good.
I mean, because if they get serious, it's just...
Well, then it's serious when the homeowner comes out, right? So, yeah, keep it light.
Yeah, try to keep it light with them.
And so that's through that rapport building throughout the whole process, it sounds like. Talking about them, noticing things.
I mean, I got to be honest. I would say nearly every call I go on, they're answering the door, and I'm starting with, "Broke it again, did you?"
Is that right?
Almost every call, I try to start it off with a joke because they're mad. They're mad that their old system broke or that their new system broke, and they're frustrated.
Sure.
And so I try to lighten it up. Right. Lighten it up for me. That way, moving forward, they're not mad.
Yeah.
And then that kind of keeps it going in the right direction for me to give them options and tell them what's going on.
Yeah.
But if you don't take care of that right off the bat and they're mad the entire time you're there, it's not going to work out good.
Sure. What's your, not going to close them all, right? Right.
No.
Hard bid. I'm like, I'm going to get them.
Yeah.
Some old school guy or something. What's your follow-up process like then?
I typically like to make a follow-up within the week. Wording on those is key too, because you don't want to feel like a vacuum salesman. you want to make them feel like that you're concerned about them and their family, versus I'm concerned about you making that decision so I can make money at this moment. I mean, sure. I'm concerned about you and your family. And is there anything that we didn't talk about the other day that you've thought of the past couple of days that we can talk about, or have you ever been taken care of? Or I just want to make sure you've been taken care of and y'all aren't freezing to death.
Yeah.
So I do have a follow-up process. Typically, I try to make a phone call within the week.
Yeah.
Because if they're getting multiple estimates, that's going to happen within that first 2 to 3 days.
Yes.
You were there or after you were there.
Do you ask when they're getting those other estimates?
I don't usually. If they
don't push that hard.
Yeah, I don't. Of course, I have had several where I felt like I did a great job and felt like they were going to call me back the next day. Don't hear back from them.
Yeah.
Follow up, and they've used somebody else.
Mm.
A lot of times,
you ask them what was the differentiator?
I do. I'll say, well, if you don't mind me asking, what was the reasoning that you didn't go with us?
Yeah.
A lot of times, those are the price point people. All they were looking for is the price, or they went with the cheapest option because they're selling the house. And they didn't tell me or they were selling the house whenever I was out there. I have a lot of those too. Sure. So there's lots of different reasons, and you don't get it from all of them, but sometimes you do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not the one that you want to hear, but
right.
A lot of times when we don't get it or I don't get it, it's because of price point.
Sure. When you call that person, they go, well, Dustin, I got 2 other bids. They're each, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 less than you guys. Or, so what do you say? Do you start asking about the bid? Do you try to break it down?
I do. Yeah. I'll ask them, is what they're offering apples to apples as far as what we're offering?
Right.
And, of course they're going to say, yeah, of course. And I'll ask them, I'm like, okay, well, so they're using Carrier, and they'll be like, oh, wait, I don't know exactly what brand they're using a lot of times because they don't pay attention to that.
Sure.
Our bids have pictures, and so they know what brand we're using, so they know we're using Carrier.
Yeah.
I'll ask them about warranties.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I like to hit on. I'm like, hey, everybody's going to typically tell you it's got a 10-year warranty or it's got a 2-year labor warranty, but are they going to answer the phone on Saturday or Sunday for you whenever you need that emergency service if you happen to need that? Because I've got a guy on call 24/7 that is going to answer that phone or call you back within 20 minutes of you calling in with the issue.
Yeah.
Are they going to do that for you? Because I don't think there's very many companies in Amarillo that offer 24-hour service.
Yeah.
So that's a huge one for us.
Well, that's big. If anyone's ever had to deal with no heat,
it never fails. It's on 4th of July or a Saturday or Sunday that it quits.
Yep.
And so having somebody that's available that is actually going to get to you within 24 hours is pretty big. That's one of the guarantees that we have is the 24-hour guarantee.
Right.
Especially if they're a maintenance member. If they're a maintenance member, it's typically within the hour that we're out there to going to fix.
Wow.
So
that's really valuable. So that helps a close
yeah.
ton.
Yeah.
Very cool. Will you try to get back out there if they're still hemming and hawing and go, well, I got these 2 bids. I like you.
If they, yeah, absolutely. If it's one that I felt like was very promising.
Yeah.
And they've gotten other estimates, and it's still, when I follow up with them on the phone, if it still seems very promising, I'll ask them, I'm like, well, do you mind to stop by and let's look at them together? You know, if it's a better deal, I'm going to tell you it's a better deal. But, you know, sometimes it's not a better deal. It may seem like it, but it's really not. And there's something that it isn't matched up to what I'm offering you. And I might even be able to sweeten the deal a little bit and knock a little bit off to help make up the difference, depending upon how you're paying me today. You know, if they're going to pay me with a check, I'm going to knock a little bit off, and that gets me closer to that other person.
If you install it tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's a lot of the big thing with us too. We can either get to it same day or next day.
That's great.
And so, as for other companies, maybe a week to 2 weeks out, we're next day.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be down for a long period of time.
Do you pull that card on, hey, I'm actually going to come back out and check on this job, and I'm going to personally make sure? Yeah.
A lot of them, they ask me if I'm going to.
Yeah.
And at that point, you don't want to lie.
Yeah.
I mean, so
You do, though.
Yeah, I do. I show up, like I said, typically within the first 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours of the job. If at all possible, I try to go out there first thing with the installer. So I walk them through the house. I'm like, okay, hey, here's the thermostat. Here's the
So you're doing the intro then. Hey, this is Joe. Yeah.
Some customers are frustrated. If the guys walk in, they don't know where everything's at, and they have to show them that, they're frustrated. And so at that point, it kind of starts it off on a teetering point, and you want to start the installers off on the positive foot, so that way you're not setting them up for failure later down the road.
Sure.
So I try to go out to every call, if I can't, first thing in the morning within the first few hours of the guys being there, just to make sure everything got started off right.
Yeah.
So
very good. Do you at any point, let's say, hey, I'm happy to get involved. I'm buying the system. I'm feeling good. You got the install date. Is there anything you do to make sure I'm not canceling on you, to make me feel good about spending $25,000, or you just remind them why they're doing business with you, or what's your post-close, I guess, is what I'm getting to.
Obviously mine is getting in the door as soon as possible.
Yeah.
A lot of times though, I've got several that are scheduled for next week.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about them. I did my job when I was out there, and I don't feel like, of course they might call in and cancel, but if I did what I needed to do and did it 100%, they're not gonna call in and cancel.
Yeah.
They're locked in. The ones that do financing, of course, while I'm there, I'll fill out the credit app. I'll send the loan documents over. We'll e-sign those. Those will be done.
Yeah.
But they're paying with cash or check.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're going to cancel on me. So I don't require a deposit or anything like that.
Okay.
I'll tell them, I'm like, they'll ask, how much do you need down? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we want to run our business like somebody that needs a deposit to get the work started for you.
That helps you.
Yeah.
Do you, you're the one collecting the check then at the end?
Actually, let the guys.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll have them ask me that too. They're like, well, are you going to come back out and get the money? Right. I'm like, nope. I said, I'll tell them the guys will have an invoice. So you'll sign that invoice, and you can pay those guys whenever they get done.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it just so happens that I'm stopping by whenever the guys are finishing up. And of course, the people will hand me the check, which is, but I'll tell the customer, it's fine if you want to give it to them, or if you'd like for me to stop by and double check things. If I haven't made it by here by that time, let me know.
Yeah.
And like I said, all of them have my credit or my business card, so they have my number to contact.
Do you ask for reviews or referrals?
They do. So keep moving back on you. Whenever we get done and we hit closeout or you hit end call, our system automatically sends them a review application, so they can pick whether they want to send it to Google, Better Business Bureau, or Facebook. And so at that point, they can choose, do I want to take the time to leave a review, which most of them do.
Yeah.
I think we forgot, it's kind of crazy. It's like 800 to 1,000 reviews or something like that. It might be more than that. I don't know exactly how many there are.
Right.
But I would say on every 3 out of 4 calls, we get a review on it.
Yeah.
Whether it's good, bad, ugly. If it's ugly, of course, we follow up and figure out what happened. Why are you not upset? What could we have done better? And try to get that resolved where that's not on there anymore. Because nobody wants a bad review on their business page.
No, for sure.
So we got a lot of things we do with reviews for sure. We believe in those.
just kind of a few wrap-up questions. I think you said last year you did 4.6. The year before you did 3.5.
I think it's 3.5, 3.6, yeah.
And then the year before you were at 2.
Around in the mid twos, yeah.
What's been the differentiator? How have you gotten a little bit better? What are you doing differently to close a little higher, a little better year to year?
I would say probably just picking up tidbits and utilizing losses. I mean, I got a lot of losses, and so you kind of sit back and you're like, well, I got this one to close. Why didn't I get this one to close? And then trying to figure out ways to make things go smoother.
Yeah.
We've critiqued our financing stuff. We've critiqued the price book. We've, changed the way that the layouts on the quotes were. We've played with different layouts on those. I mean, we've tried a ton of different things, and we feel like what we've got right now is working really good.
Yeah.
But that's been a lot of it is changing the way that you do the presentation, changing the information that you're giving the customer, and making it easy for them to make the decision. Is big.
Yeah. When you have another crown champion here too.
I do.
Right. So how long has he been with you?
He has been with us. I think he's been with us for 3 years, 4 years, 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
What
started him in sales last year?
Okay.
Last year, I think he did like 800. No, it'd be the year before. And so this will be his third year in sales.
Yeah.
First year he was knocking out big numbers.
Well, what was your onboarding and training for him?
Riding along with me.
Yeah.
He did a lot of ride-alongs with me. He did a lot of ride-alongs with me before we even knew we were going to move him into that spot.
Yeah.
But it's funny because even he'll tell you my process, it works really good. And that's what I told him from the get-go when we hired him on. I said, hey, you come in here and listen and do what you're supposed to do. You can make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
And so, but riding along with me has been probably pretty big. And then he's a podcast guy too. He's constantly watching videos on different guys across the country that are doing big things.
Yeah.
And he's got drive. He wants to take care of his family and make sure he's got what he needs.
Yeah. So you said you guys have been working to tweak your process, get a little bit better.
Yeah.
How do you get better? What are things you do to pour into yourself to stay motivated? You got a lot of responsibility, right?
I do. Yeah. So obviously I think we're 26 guys. We've got 4 install crews. I don't like guys on free time, sitting at the shop, having to act like they're pushing a broom because they're not. They're holding it up. So if I've got guys at the shop, I'm losing money.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a big responsibility for me and him is to get jobs in so that way those guys are out of the shop.
Yeah.
Then of course, they're getting paid spiffs for every install that they do, and so they're making more money if I'm getting the jobs to get them out the door.
I like it.
And so that's a lot of responsibility, and that's I feel like more of a failure whenever I don't have jobs for them and they're at the shop than I do just not getting the sale. It weighs on me more that way than just not getting the sale and not making the money off that job. It's more of I didn't get jobs for these guys to go do. So that's I think that's a lot of maybe why I have gotten better. I put more weight on my shoulders as far as the team goes versus just me individually. Which it's when you're an owner, that's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a big team. It's not just you individually or your wife. It's everybody.
Yeah.
So
sure. Last question. What's it like? You've been in this organization for a long time. I mean, you've seen the transition with Gary's and how it's taken off and how the system works, and you're around a lot of successful people. You went out to the General. I know you guys know a lot of other, interact with a lot of other, CertainPath members.
Right.
How valuable is that relationship?
It's huge. Being able to utilize other people that are very successful as tools, person to person, is different than, of course, watching a video or something like that. Because when you're talking to them face to face or you're getting information over the phone, it's a lot different than like I said, just watching a video or something.
Yeah.
So I would say having that resource is awesome.
Yeah.
And knowing that you have that resource is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think the CertainPath thing has been great for us.
It's great. Yeah. Well, Dustin, thank you so much for all your time. Thank you for racing to get on another plane to make the interview. I appreciate it. And it was great chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
The Successful Contractor podcast is part of the CertainPath family. CertainPath builds successful home service businesses and has for 25 years. We do it by providing contractors with a proven path to success, professional coaching, software solutions, and a member community of 1,000 plus strong. Doubling your sales with a 20% net profit and an inspiring company culture is all possible. Let us show you the way. With CertainPath, success is made certain. Visit www.mycertainpath.com for more information.